I'm lost in darkness, searching for light. Every step forward feels like a fight. Shadows of doubt creep in my mind, but I refuse to surrender. I must find a way to rise above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. The weight of the world crushes me down. Fear and uncertainty all around. But I deep find inner strength to face the trials length by length. A way to rise above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. Through every storm, I'll find my way. Through every night, a brighter day. I'll rise from ashes, like a phoenix born. My spirit unbroken, my heart reborn. I've walked through fire and emerged scarred, but wiser, stronger, and unmarred. My existence is a test of will, of trials overcome, of a soul made bold. The weight of the world above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. Oh, made bold. Through every storm, I'll find my way. Through every night, a brighter day. I'll rise from ashes like a phoenix born. My spirit unbroken, my spirit unborn. Day to day, nothing changes. All I want is a moment to think clearly, but thoughts come unrelenting, consuming every waking moment. My mind binds me and I can't escape. I shout for help, but no one hears me. One day I feel I'll just disappear. Lost in this chaos, I'm searching for peace.
What up, everybody? It's Sean Escudero, and I'm here with the boys. The full gang is here. Nick, Greg, I pointed in two different directions. I fucked it all up, but you guys introduce yourself in that order. Let's say hi.
Oh, what is up, everyone? That's Sneak in the Corner. It is your boy, Nick LaRocco. This is the second podcast in a row for me because I just did the Dynamite recap show with Caesar, so go and check that out after this, of course. But hey, we are going to be talking a lot of wrestling, and with my boy, Greg, we'll be talking a lot of Linkin Park, too. Greg?
Yeah, but how's everybody doing? There's always more Linkin Park to talk about. There's always more pro wrestling to talk about, and yeah, we'll find something else to bullshit about as well.
Heavy as the crown. Well, we can't hear John anymore.
Previously, it has been followed by the mute button.
I keep muting it myself, too. It's me doing it. Hey, did you guys actually listen to that album, like the whole thing already? It's very short.
Yes.
It's only 30 minutes.
Yes, it is. I mean, Linkin Park albums are like notoriously short.
Yeah, I heard it like 5 times in the first day. I was like, this is very easy to loop. I'm not washed.
Yes,
Fuck
it
you,
is.
Jesus. What's up, Matt? What's up, Malik? Mac, thank you for joining us tonight. Dwayne Johnson in
Wow,
the
the
house.
Roxy, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey,
At least he
Seuss is
showed up
with
to
us,
something.
talking his shit. It was a good album though. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. Honestly, I was a little iffy about moving forward. It's hard to move on with anything, but I liked it. I honestly I can say I liked the whole thing. All the way
Yay!
through. It was
Ooh,
really good.
I mean,
Especially that
Miss
three.
Emily Armstrong, she can hit and carry a lot of those similar notes to Chester, and I will respect that because that's very hard to do. Take it from me on a very lit boys' night featuring Rock Band.
I've never
Oh,
done.
dear.
I was gonna say I've never done karaoke, but I did used to play Rock Band a lot, and I used to be the. They used to give me the mic because I knew how to. I knew how to hit those fucking lines. That doesn't always mean you sound exactly like the song. That just means you know how.
No, it doesn't.
Especially if certain kinds of drinks have been in your system.
Yeah.
Woo, boy.
Max says it was a 4 out of 5 album for him. 4 out of 5 Max.
That's a good number.
4 max out of 5 max, not bad.
4 Max out of 5 Max. Not bad. Hey, listen, it's been a week. It's been pro wrestling. You know how that shit goes. There's always something going
It
on.
goes.
This week, just before we got on, they announced that Matt Cardona and Chris Jericho were going to main event Ring of Honor's Final Battle. And I was like, but I was on 2 minds of that immediately. I was like, first of all, ew? What the fuck? wait. Could you say that? Like, did you hear that sentence? Matt Cardona versus Chris Jericho main events Ring of Honor's Final Battle at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Fuck you. But then I also laughed because we talked last week about Tony Khan pulling Ricky Starks from the GCW shows because of the things that that Effy had said on his podcast about Tony and his dad. And then Effy doubles down on what he said last week, and he basically this time kind of goes off about how Tony Khan is a nepotism baby and all that stuff.
And it isn't good at any of the technical aspects.
Yeah, it was a bunch of pretty silly stuff, but
He's to win in Fortnite too.
it was pretty dumb. But then announcing Matt Cardona, who was supposed to be Ricky Stark's opponent before he got pulled, and then 2 in the Hammerstein Ballroom, where that's supposed to be the draw for the GCW show, that you're gonna see Matt Cardona in the Hammerstein Ballroom. So like,
Again.
did he really just do that, or like, is this a work? Because I know I laugh at like. You know, we laugh at the petty things that happen. Like Vince McMahon has been petty for so many fucking years. We just have to laugh at it. And so when Tony Khan does it, I laugh at it too. If he honestly did something this petty, like good on you for growing those balls. But also that doesn't really seem like Tony Khan does it. So it kind of makes me think like maybe this is all it's all a part of the show, and we're gonna do this whole GCW versus Ring of Honor thing.
When I was reading that in the group chat when we were talking about this, I was still like thinking about when you had some of the ECW guys sit in front row at Raw. Like, why do I feel like that's going to be the vibe here? Very Heyman-esque.
Yeah. I mean, that's certainly the vibe that somebody like Tony Khan would reach for.
Right?
Yeah, if he wants to do Heatwave 2000 or 99.
No! It's 2000.
2000. You just have the GCW guys sit in the front row and slap her. It's just like swing at people they shouldn't and make it look like legit. The baby faces, the heels run out. I don't. If you're gonna do this shit,
You're asking Ring of Honor to commit the sin that they committed in Madison Square Garden.
Well, you want it. Well, no. First of all, let everybody know. That's the first thing. How about we tell the people what we're doing tonight? That would really go a long way towards avoiding the problems that they had in Madison Square Garden. But I think if you're gonna do this, then you should have fun with it. If it's really what's gonna happen, GCW and Ring of Honor, you don't have to worry about reaching to like this far-reaching audience. Like you can do the the insider indie shit, all the fucking shit you want. Like the GCW guys are in the front row. Like we don't have to do a fucking 20-minute explanation of that on a Ring of Honor show. Like if you're watching
Sure.
Ring of Honor, you probably know who the fuck Effy is and all that shit. Again,
It
Ricky
works better
Starks.
it works better on a GCW show than it does on a Ring of Honor show, I'll say.
Hey, Stu said GCW going to get ready how to learn to get ready to learn how to job to ROH talent. You can do a whole thing. You can have people jump sides. Ricky Starks jump sides. Fucking Christian Blake is on both rosters. Billy Starks is there. There's a lot of potential for some interesting.
Another Starks?
Too many Starks.
Billy and
Too many
Ricky
Starks.
together.
Too many Starks.
They start the bridge.
There
Too
you
many
go.
Starks.
Takes a lot to make the Stark.
You got a lot of big matches that you can do. Big. I don't want no asshole fucking WWE fans saying like, that's not a big match.
John Mack just went for your throat.
Oh, he said feed Jericho to Alley Catch. What the fuck are you talking about?
You found the one person John might hate more than Chris Jericho right now.
I can't even. I would actually die. But I was thinking about you could do Alley Catch versus fucking Athena, and like if you wanted, that's a big match for that kind of environment.
John's like, I wouldn't, but you could.
Should be an option.
I would probably do Billy Starks and look how far I've come type deal. But
Yeah.
that's just me. If you're gonna do that type of thing, honestly, part of me just wants it to be petty. Like Tony Khan just did it because fuck y'all for talking about my dad. You want to talk about my dad? Look at my pocket, bitch. whoa.
So like
now.
we make fun of the New Japan deal and what happens when you make a deal with the bigger fish, but Ring of Honor is not unfamiliar with pettiness involving interpromotional ideas. They beat CCW in their match on their pay-per-view.
In the cage of death, Ring of Honor beat CZW. Never forget that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they should probably win this.
We're gonna take your signature idea.
That was dirty. That was pretty dirty. Hey,
It was.
I love that shit. That was the Ring of Honor CZW feud is probably. I don't know if it's my top, but it's one of my favorite independent wrestling stories of all time. Like that, that takes a lot of unprecedented cooperation, and it was not easy. But if you go back and you watch it as whole, I think it's like I know the collection is still out there. I burned it to 10 discs once. But there's a Ring of Honor versus CZW.
How dare you?
The Anatomy of a Feud. Search that shit on Google, and I know it'll pop up somewhere. Watch that shit from the beginning. Watch Samoa Joe versus fucking Necro Butcher. Jesus. Watch Necro Butcher beat the shit out of a couple unsuspecting Samoa Joe students before that.
And then Samoa Joe gives the receipt.
It's awesome how they were able to. I mean, some of that stuff was like uncooperative. Like, hey, what the fuck is he doing? Like, why are they doing that?
As is the way of deathmatch wrestling of the era.
And then some of it was just complete work, and you just couldn't tell what was what. And that was a fun time. Maybe AEW and GC or Ring of Honor and GCW can create that kind of environment on the internet. It's not easy today.
Sometimes it's just Chris Hero and Bryan Danielson just being good wrestlers, and you're just like, this is fantastic.
Hear me out. It's almost too easy to do this, though. You got Matt Cardona. He's like literally the top dude, isn't he? Who the fuck else is the top guy in GCW?
I feel like there's an easy answer here.
Effy?
Probably. Yeah.
Alley Catch. Blake Christian. Isn't Alley Catch facing Effy for the for the GCW World Title at the Hammerstein?
I'm about to look up what their last few main events are right now. Actually,
I was doing the same thing, Greg.
Yeah. So you already got the big ass crossover match set up. The
In
big
his own
GCW
brain,
guy.
Joey Janela.
Mace Warner. There you go. That's the dude. That's who's on the main event
Yeah, Mace.
these
Yeah,
days.
that's what I was trying to remember.
But yeah, you got. Okay.
Who
Yeah, I
last
knew
beat
that.
Kylie Ray for the belt?
I knew that looked wrong, and I fucking trusted Mac. No, but yeah, hear me out. Matt Cardona comes out for his fucking match, and he brings his GCW buddies, and they're already like that. Jericho is the Ring of Honor World Champion. Even though I think this would be more effective if there was like Mark Briscoe as World Champion right now, somebody more Ring of Honor ish. Fucking Chris Jericho.
Maybe. If anyone can remember it, maybe you can bring back Tony Deppen, who's just upset about his Ring of Honor run.
What is he still working GCW?
Yes, he's on the roster at least.
Yeah, he was on there a few shows ago.
Okay, he's around. He got screwed over.
I
What
like
happened
Deppen,
to Tracy Williams? Remember that guy? Hot sauce. Tracy Williams.
Hot sauce?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fucking god.
He was in that Grisham gimmick, wasn't it?
He was. Jonathan Grisham. I don't want to talk about it. Makes me sad. Speaking of Bryan Danielson, Jesus
Rest in peace, Jonathan Gresham.
They
Oh,
did say
no.
Bryan is trying to get stem cell treatment to see if he can avoid a surgery. Could you imagine that man on stem cells? Just
His awakening, the super vegan is here.
how the fuck did we make him stronger?
I love the idea that like Brian would just go for the greenest treatment possible.
Could we get the stems from the forest? Brian, that's not.
That's not how that works.
Not advised, Brian.
But yeah, that's kind of what's going on with GCW right now. Max says Tracy Williams is a G. He rode him to the airport a few times before Beyond Wrestling. I did not know that. I did know you used to take guys to the airport for Beyond. That was pretty cool. Mac has some cool stories there. But
Yeah.
following that, we had a couple other things to talk about. Right.
Hopefully nobody threw up in your car.
Oh no.
I've been that person once. It was real bad. I don't like
Oh,
to be
no.
that guy.
Oh.
Please don't put me around alcohol. It's not fun for you. Very fun for me.
Of course.
Ryan Nemeth.
Oh no.
Ryan Nemeth.
Ryan Nemeth.
Okay, so
Leader of the Wingmen.
what happened was
Little brother syndrome.
Fightful obtained a complaint, which was sent to numerous executives within AEW back in September, where Ryan Nemeth
This
outlined.
feels like it violates so many like different confidentiality rules.
Pretty sure that obtained a complaint just means Ryan Nemeth gave it to them, but they've obtained it, and it says in which Ryan outlined a timeline of events that he says highlights abuse, harassment, and the threats that he faced while working in AEW. I am not laughing at his harassment. Note that these are the individual claims of Nemeth himself. And so we have a list here and this timeline that I'll try to not skim. But it says the complaint was dated on September 12th. The abuse stemmed from Phil Brooks, a.k.a. CM Punk. That motherfucker rears his head back in my show. I refuse to do this. As a matter of fact, shut this off.
You're going to be talking about, sir, I think you're going to be talking about CM Punk a lot for the next couple of months.
Yeah, we'll talk about that shit in a second too. But Ryan says that CM Punk basically
Say the line, Nick.
CM Punk bullied him, and AEW failed to respond to any of the incidents. And he says he was encouraged to cut a promo antagonizing Punk. Who encouraged him to do this? He says this timeline includes emails.
It's like when Matt Hardy says he was encouraged when Bradshaw was just like, it'd be real unfortunate if these toothpicks found their way into Don Callis's car keyholes, and it'd be very unfortunate if Callis couldn't get into his car to change. And it'd also be very unfortunate if nobody knew who did it.
Oh man.
I wanted to read through this timeline here, but they have it set up a little weird. Okay, so they introduced the things that are going to be in the timeline. Who is about CM Punk? The Nemeth says AEW failed to respond to any of these incidents, and somebody encouraged him to cut a promo antagonizing Punk. So,
Okay.
right. The thing also refers to Punk as a former talent who had an undisclosed executive producer manager title with AEW. So I guess, does that confirm that he had the second role, or is this Ryan Nemeth's speculation?
Yeah, I don't think it confirms anything.
Yeah.
So the timeline begins on April 16th, 2023. Ryan Nemeth says he contacted AEW legal rep at the time. She's not in that position anymore. Mega Parek. I might have fucked that name up, but he told her that he's got concerns. He's got concerns that he'd be targeted by CM Punk. He told her this on April 16th. And then on June 21st, 2023, CM Punk did threaten him in the AEW locker room. Nemeth says that Tony Schiavone, Mega, and the Young Bucks all showed him empathy and that they assured his AEW relationship wouldn't be impacted, but he doesn't say who assured him that specifically. And then he proceeded to not be booked for 2 months. During this time, John Moxley contacted him.
Sounds like you were lied to, my friend.
It sounds like somebody with no power told you something to make you feel good. It says during these 2 months, John Moxley contacted him and said it didn't sit right with him and that he would support him throughout this time. And so on July 17th...
And no, you cannot join the Death Riders.
Please? Well, no, you see, we actually only like good wrestlers. Oh, that's fucked up. I'm sorry.
If your brother's available, then we'll consider it.
I'm sorry. We want Nick. No, so getting back to that. On July 17th, he says he contacted Mega again to communicate that he was upset that AEW had not responded to the June 21st locker room incident, and he believed he'd been silently fired. Specifically, he believed that his exclusive PPA deal, his pay per appearance deal, would be allowed to expire because of this incident. Nemeth claims that he felt he was being punished, but Mega assured him that speaking up wouldn't impact his job. And then Fightful Select reported that this confrontation stemmed from a tweet which Nemeth called Punk the softest man alive, and Nemeth says that was in character. That's why CM Punk approached him. I think I remember us talking about that too.
Yes, a little
when
bit.
the report came out, and I was like, should have just swung on his ass. That's how we handle shit, Ryan. But no,
I don't think he comes from where you come from, John.
No, he comes from lawsuit land. On August 12th, Nemeth was... I keep calling him Nemeth.
Planet Namek.
The Planet Nemeth. Ryan Nemeth was booked for the first time
Ryan
in 2 months.
Namekian.
He confirmed the story that Fightful had reported at the time. Upon arriving to Greensboro for the show, they asked him to leave.
Upon arrival,
You must go.
you could have called me.
Pat
I have to make the whole trip.
Pat Buck says there was some travel confusion before he confirmed that it was
That
actually
seems to
CM.
happen.
Well, no, he was lying. He first said that it was travel confusion, and then he confirmed that CM Punk asked for Ryan to be removed from the building. Fightful spoke to numerous sources who also confirmed that CM Punk asked for him to be removed from the building. Should have swung on him. Nemeth says that he has an audio recording of some interactions from that day. So he recorded. Jesus Christ. I'm not
Is he
saying.
even in like a two-party consent type of area?
I was gonna say, are those recordings admissible?
Yeah, like he recorded the interactions. Like, my brother, what did you come here to do? Anyway, he says he contacted Mega again, pleading for action to take place. He was flown to the August 16th show. The wording in his document is that he was ordered to verbally antagonize the world champion in a promo in front of the live crowd, taped for Collision. Taped for Collision. He says after speaking to AEW legal and HR that day, there's no appropriate response to the situation. Mega left.
That sounds like some Fall Guy shit.
Mega just left AEW legal, and Nemeth was dealing with some new people, Chris Peck and Margaret Stalvey. After the Brooks incident with Jack Perry at All Out, Nemeth was asked to speak to the outside counsel that were investigating that situation. And he communicated that he had been speaking up regarding this pattern of behavior for months and was concerned about being made the fall guy for Brooks's behavior.
I said it.
Those Fightful spoke to people that says the conversation was more to determine the course of action moving forward with Brooks in AEW as opposed to anything to do with Nemeth. So he was just a witness to or I guess a character witness, you could say, for the CM Punk thing. That's actually really funny that you end up a character witness in another CM Punk situation, but they never took care of
They don't
yours.
care about yours. You're still just the fall guy on both dark and in real life.
That's hilarious. So he says, they told him his contract is going to be left to expire. And so he worked for AEW for the final time on November 18th, and then CM Punk returned to WWE that same week. He claims that he believed Tony Khan and AEW hold him responsible for having to fire CM Punk.
It was all him.
What?
Wait, Ryan, what? Does he watch the
That's
show?
crazy.
I knew that he was saying Fall Guy, but I didn't think it was for that. Because there is clearly one that they used. But so yeah, his contract expired officially in March of 2024. And Sanjay Dutt had I guess he had been repeating pitches to Sanjay and they were going ignored. Somebody give a fuck. After this timeline, Nemeth says that Chris Peck communicated a settlement interest that would be equal approximately 3 years worth of his salary if he would sign an NDA on the matter.
Nice.
Nemeth says that he's appreciative of the offer and he wanted to discuss it, but the legal counsel told him the offer was no longer an option.
We changed our minds.
Never mind, bro.
God.
Why didn't you say yes? Just talking about I think about it, brother. We just offered you 3 years salary. You talking about I think about it. Deal's off the table, bro. Get the fuck out of here. All right. I'm just a fucking observer at this point. I'm not no legal counsel.
This was us being the company's just like this was us being nice.
Brother, this brother begged them to take action for a fucking year. Begged them. They said, you know what? Fine. Here's a big ass lump sum of money. And he's like,
Just shut the fuck up.
I'll think about it. All right, Mr. Righteousness. Here we are now. So they told him the offer was no longer an option. And then Nemeth claims that Peck told him he'd be placed in an antagonistic position to Mega if things were ever escalated to arbitration. So I guess they're like, do you want to annoy the pretty lawyer lady? And Nemeth says he always had a nice relationship with her, but he also claimed that Peck threatened to sue him in response to sending this timeline to AEW. So when they received this letter, they were like, how about you don't? And so he says, post that, he met with mental health professionals over this matter and that he's seeking policy change in the company and that original financial consideration that they mentioned.
The company you don't work in?
He said,
Right.
please change the way you do things. And can I have that money? That's really what this is about. I'm sorry.
Culture. 3 years,
I'm
please.
sorry. I'm sorry that I said I'd think about it. Okay? Please take my phone calls.
I demand restitution.
So yeah, to bring this to a close, Nemeth says that he feels the roster is full of amazing people who deserve to be in a safe environment, and that he didn't believe that Brooks was a catalyst for the that if Brooks wasn't the catalyst for what happened, that someone else would have been. He says specifically these concerns fall on deaf ears to AEW, and that he wants them to do something about it.
So he's still
AEW
very much blaming the company.
Yeah. It does paint a picture of the way that they handle things that had to do with CM Punk. And I mean, not one that's surprising. We kind of
Yeah.
we knew who. At
We
least
It's
covered
we did.
nothing
this
we
how many
haven't
times
combed over
over the
several
years,
times.
Yeah,
right?
right.
How many years of just either inaction or just trying to do whatever it takes to keep Top Draw, Philip, Pepsi Man happy?
Or just
Through
Tony not answering his phone.
see, this is a perfect segue
The
because
JTG.
I really believe AEW's peak ended the day Philip won that fucking world championship. That was the end of the boom period for that company, and they never recovered. They never recovered from that. It's he threw away 3 years worth of build so that this ornery old fuck, excuse me, CM Punk, could be happy. Uh, and it wasn't even like Punk asked. It wasn't like Punk was sitting on the throne going, ha ha ha, yes, give me more, give me more. It was just Tony Khan being like, "Are you happy now, sir?"
Yeah.
I have
Which,
CM
like,
Punk now. Make him
which-
champion.
Yeah, which pulls you back to like the weirdness of the Colt Cabana problem, where it's just like people people blamed it on like it being a Punk demand, when it seems more and more like Tony Khan did that shit on the sly to make him
Now-
happy.
Now, I will say, this is the second or third time that we heard of CM Punk personally having someone removed from
hmm
a building or a taping, and so you do start to wonder who else who else did he personally ask to have removed, or what else was CM Punk personally asking for? Because I didn't, because you kind of realize, I don't know at what point did he realize that he had this power and wanted to start using it, and was he using it kind of spitefully, like, let's see how far I can go before they stop me, or was he always like this? So that I will acknowledge the other side, because there's some clear evidence there that it's not all Tony Khan. But yeah, Tony Max says Tony Khan gave that man carte blanche. I thought I probably didn't say that right.
Carte
to
blanche.
do
Carte blanche.
carte blanche. Is that Latin? I don't like that.
Yes.
Ooh, Greg is a dot.
He's a G.
I like G Greg.
Give me just 1 second.
No, CM Punk is a fucking menace. This guy's bullying poor Ryan Nemeth around.
Like literally, like I'm just picturing like what would happen if Nick truly was there, because Nick is legitimately a solid collegiate wrestler. How many legends have talked about how if you put him up against vast majority of people with fighting backgrounds, would he just destroy them? Like imagine if Nick saw Punk bullying Ryan right before his eyes.
Why didn't CM Punk ever bully people who are over 200 pounds? I never saw. Yeah, he swung on Jack Perry, bullied Ryan Nemeth, fought the Young Bucks. I didn't hear about him swinging on Hangman Page. Actually, I heard him complaining about Hangman and being scared that Hangman was going to shoot on him. I think he might hit me a little hard at the pay-per-view, boss. But when it comes to the little fucking Ryan and Jack Perry, CM Punk's a big guy. I don't know. I just think that's interesting. I'm not sure that that's a good.
You know what, too? I kind of remember like the match was like CMFTR taking on like House of Black, and they were getting really physical with him. Like, okay, yeah, CM Punk's totally gonna swing at Brody King.
Yeah, Brody's laying down, but at least Brody and him, they really like each other. But
Brody shops for toys with Danhausen.
Of course, CM Punk tries to make a friend out of Brody King. I'm not bullying that guy. But
getting
obviously,
like the Iron Savages there too.
Obviously, I talk my shit about CM Punk, but like objectively, this guy is a dick. I'm sorry, he's an asshole. I don't care for your fucking reason. You're a dick. I also
takes over these shows somehow.
He does. He always gets my blood boiling. No, not really. But why is Tony Khan tweeting at this time?
Go to sleep, Tony.
He says it's really exciting to go online and see how much fans enjoy tonight's AEW Dynamite.
He's seen a lot of hatred lately.
Literally go to sleep, brother. Actually. But yeah, so that's a good segue to some things that I wanted to talk about as well. the fucking AEW fan base online, at least the IWC, I feel like the core of AEW's fan base for at least the first few years, at least during their peak time, uh, kind of had enough and just they saw Survivor Series and they watched Raw and they were like, man, they're telling good stories here. Why is AEW having these problems on their television show? a lot of scattered complaints, but ultimately people just wanted to know why is the television show so fucking shoddy? Why are the stories so uh disjointed? Why what is the disconnect between what Tony Khan is trying to present and what's actually coming across on television? And whether and how do you fucking fix it? Uh in particular, I wanted to bring up some complaints. The first one I actually thought this one was silly, was that Brian
Okay.
Danielson's world title run didn't amount to much, and it wasn't worth the time, and they should have left the title on Swerve and had Hangman and Swerve be a world title feud.
I
What do you
don't
guys think of that?
understand what they I don't understand what they wanted it to amount to.
Right? The guy who's clearly winding down the thank you run.
I saw some people paint it as we lost something with Hangman and Swerve so that Brian and his best buddy can, have their little fantasy for the world title or have their little fantasy snuff film for the world championship at Wrestle Dynasty. And again, I don't agree with that, but
I
I did
feel like
want to
that
know
would
what you
mean
guys
more
thought.
if they didn't immediately have an angle from Moxley.
Or if Hangman and Swerve didn't immediately, like, if that wasn't like a catalyst for the next level of their feud, you know what I mean? Like, there's reasons for things. But what about you, Nick? What'd you think?
Man, I don't know. I just struggle with so many of these like online critiques because it's just like we want this, but it's like clearly Danielson's winding down. Clearly he doesn't want to go on for much longer. I think this is coming from a lot of like new generation fans who aren't used to the older like thank you runs for certain titles, and I think a lot of that too like will transcend to the way that AEW's been booked in a lot of ways because it's done in a style a lot of people haven't been used to for well over 20 years, at least for like the casual viewer.
I I don't agree with it, and honestly, I don't agree with a lot of the things that were being said. But there were some things that are hard to ignore, and I mean, we've been bringing them up here. I've been bringing them up here. I bring them up on the Dynamite show. I remember that made that that made one of our hosts uncomfortable a lot. He did not like to be negative about things. But it's like, damn, man, I am slowly like obviously I don't care as much about the TV. I'm like, you know what? The TV show fucking sucks now. I watched the dang thing for the wrestling. So when they're like, it's the C2 season, I'm like, what's the card? I'm here for the matches. The matches are great. I'm satisfied. I move on. But it's hard to ignore just how much I don't care about everything else.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like the John Moxley story started out with a lot of promise, petered out, and they're trying to put some heat back into it now. We'll see how that works. It doesn't seem to have
I still don't even understand that storyline.
it doesn't seem to have an arc. It did in the beginning, and now it's like, oh,
Yeah,
what's happening now?
It just seems like incoherent ramblings at
things
this
like tend
point.
to fizzle out very fast because I feel like there's a lot of cool hype and everything going on with what looked like a well thought out, well planned out thing with like the timeless Tony Storm gimmick, but then it's like now that we've gone through with Mariah, her run hasn't really felt all too great following that, and it seemed like we had a lot more planned out there. And I don't know if there's been shifts or anything, because if there are shifts, we know Tony Khan has struggled with booking around that. And yeah, I think back to like to the Devil's storyline that had a lot of promise. There was the whole whodunit mystery about it, but then it just turned into something super, again, predictable and super fizzly by the end, where nobody started caring anymore.
So I'll say on the Mariah Me thing, like Like, it seemed like they did have a plan because they went straight to the Mina Shirakawa story, but you run into a wall there where at the end of the day, we're only going to put Mina Shirakawa on screen to say so much in English, no matter how good it is, and now you have Mariah May carrying the entire program with a woman who is in and out of the country and isn't cutting many promos.
Right. I like the way Mac has said this comment right here. Like Moxley kept saying there was something coming that Brian couldn't handle, and it's been like 2 months, and it must still be coming. And it makes me think again. It's the George R.R. Martin thing of, oh, don't worry, the dragons, they're coming, they're on their way.
I was gonna say Walking Dead with the big thing.
Yeah.
I mostly, I could try to pinpoint lots of things that are wrong right now, but the biggest thing is that I keep looking back and remembering how good it was. I keep looking back and I see like I think of fucking the damn Young Bucks versus Hangman and Kenny, or the whole Hangman arc, or the fucking original MJF stuff before he kind of got overexposed there. Of course, it wasn't perfect, but there were great stories being told, and there are no fucking good stories being told these days. None. We were literally the fucking complaint that they used to have when they were telling good stories is now actually true. Like they used to say, "Well, AEW doesn't have any stories," when they were telling Hangman Page's epic. Now these days, though, it's like it's actually true. I can't think of a fucking good of an AEW story that would make me want to tune in if all I cared about was fucking all my children or whatever. If I was that kind of fan, I don't know. Maybe this Moxley thing will turn around. They brought Orange Cassidy back into it tonight, and it kind of feels like at least we got something going.
And Orange Cassidy attempted murder.
He did attempt murder, but I
meant to send you something that got posted from that, which is just like, oh man, whoever had the idea to have Orange Cassidy come out to the song from Fight Club killed it. I was like, you late as hell, my brother. When did you show up to this party? We've been doing this for a while. We took a break. It just came back.
He's like, when this Orange Cassidy guy, when he puts his hands in his pockets, he's got like superpowers or something.
Is that like his power boost?
I love it.
I love this guy. Where'd you find this guy? Nah, listen. I have my problems with AEW too. I wanted to be more articulate about it, but ultimately the issue is Tony Khan took a lot on his own, doesn't trust anybody else. Now he's trying to spread it out slowly to a team of what he said was like 30 people, but it isn't working. I don't know what the fuck to do about it.
I think the problem is always what it has been to me, and what I thought it was going to be the problem when the company started. It is a complete mass of inexperienced people trying to put together a wrestling show for the first time.
Yeah, and maybe they got too successful in the beginning.
Way too much. They had a lot of hype and a lot of energy and they had a lot of hooks into a lot of people with things they couldn't deliver. Which much as I love the idea of it, like being a fan of pro wrestling doesn't make you a good booker. And that's all Tony Khan was riding high on. Maybe a few seasons of EWR.
Yeah, it was a lot of the environment too. Like wrestling was bad on television, and it was like someone was willing to just be like, let's do all the things that they're not doing.
It was for 20 years, people begged and pleaded to have that person that had that financial source to come out there and create something. And for a lot of us, hardcore wrestling fans, it was something that was catered to us, that appealed to us and what we were looking for. But Greg, like you were saying, and John, you too, like we had this company that was created where so many people who were a part of those early days, you had a lot of people who were on the verge of retirement that used to work in WCW because, for a long time, there really weren't a whole lot of people that had experience running major professional wrestling on TV in America unless they had a WWE background. And a lot of them were getting locked down for big money for no reason, just to not go there really, or they were already retired themselves.
And the available ones that did would not jive with this young, like cadre of people.
Exactly.
There is no world. There is no way in this world, like even when he was alive, there is no place in this world where you are going to get Dutch Mantel to reach these kids.
Well, I mean, that's probably partly because he's a racist. But
Maybe, but like the Dutch Mantel, what's his name? He passed away. Sullivan, Kevin Sullivan.
Oh, Kevin Sullivan.
Like a lot of these old guys aren't going to reach these dudes. You know, I'm ignoring the cornet part, but like a lot of those guys from that era who are available people who have experience doing this, it's never going to work there because they are two completely diametrically opposed generations.
I want to. There's I don't want to shit on people for being positive about AEW still. I don't think there's anything wrong if you enjoy it. Like I
mean, you
enjoy
can
it,
wish.
honestly.
That's fine.
I fucking enjoy it. I think it's a lot easier to have a conversation like this when you know they ain't fucking going anywhere.
Some people
Doesn't
enjoy
matter.
NXT. Like it's fun.
Well, I mean, because when you had this conversation before they signed the deal, it's like, are they gonna get a new deal? Is AEW gonna die? I hope they fucking fix it, man.
Oh, the TV deal.
But now it's like, they got guaranteed 5 years to sit on HBO Max. Like, okay, we can have a conversation now. Let's see what's wrong here and how we can fix it. AEW's not dead. They ain't going nowhere. They are so financially secure right now. They are actually more fucking financially successful than they have ever been in their history. So now we can sit down and punch that shit up a little bit because what the fuck is going on? Because I don't even care how successful you are as a fan, as someone who is very fucking excited for the existence of this company. I feel myself caring less and less and less about the weekly TV show. And that's an issue. That's just an issue for me. So like, and then I see other people feeling the same way. And so I can see that it's not just me. And it's not just, some AEW wrestlers want to be like, we're just getting attacked because they were just getting attacked for so long. And now it's a shield against actual criticism, but it's like, slow down. There are actual things wrong now. Let's fix them.
And I'll say too, to be fair to like Tony Khan, he does have the benefit of that kind of that television experience when it comes to sports leagues and things like that. But it doesn't always like translate 1-to-1. But it's still a little bit more of an advantage than a lot of other promotions would have had. But yeah, it still just doesn't equate. Go on, Greg.
I was gonna say it's a much better advantage than Heyman, sure.
Right, and I pulled up, a list of when we were talking about available people that could have come into AEW like day one, and some that did. I'm looking at straight up behind the scenes, backstage, like WCW era people, like Craig Leathers and people like that. And so many of them began their careers in the industry in like the 70s or 80s. So many of them are retiring or had already retired. So that's been another huge issue because you don't have that developmental for production people and logistics and planning and things like that. And there's not really like a college you could go to get experience in travel logistics for a wrestling promotion.
They have a new guy that is Mike Mansouri that came from WWE that is apparently going to really help them with presentation and things like that going into the new year. So that's something that they're actively working on. They're also going to be booking smaller arenas going forward, except not for pay-per-views. Pay-per-views you can still do the 10s and 15s. But for weekly shows, they can do like WWE used to do, the college arenas, the 7,000s, the 5,000s.
That's the esports stadium.
It's probably for the best.
The esports stadium in Arlington, they did a great job making that look like just not just a packed venue, but also just a really cool looking place to have a wrestling show.
Yeah. It had a pretty unique look. Like I don't know. I remember when they were in that place, and I was just like, "Can we stay here?"
Because I'm watching, when I was watching Worlds this year, I was seeing some of the arenas and they are just crazy and they have really cool acoustics and great setups and lots of LEDs. Like a lot of esports arenas would be awesome for wrestling shows. And I think they should really emphasize that.
I love the fucking arenas with the floors that light up. Any LED floor, let's get a show on there. Let's make some wrestling happen on that bitch.
John wants to see the cars go across the screen for Grand Slam.
Yes. But
I will say, Eric Bischoff tried to make his suggestion, which when I saw it, I was just like, John has turned this show off so fast. John, did you see Eric Bischoff's suggestion for Booker?
I saw that fucking dumb shit. Yeah, this asshole suggested Bully Ray. Bully Ray should book AEW. Bully Ray, who famously booked the return of the beautiful people at Madison Square Garden when he had Mayu Iwatani in the locker room.
Dog, I gotta get my wife on the big show.
They had Hana Kimura.
She never got to work the garden.
They had Hana Kimura at their disposal. Correct. She was in the building. She worked the pre-show.
Happy wife, happy life, dog.
Fuck Bubba Ray Dudley. Fuck Bubba Ray Dudley to death. Not like to die, but fuck him until he's really tired. No, could you imagine? That's disgusting. I know, but Eric Bischoff, he's such a clown. Like, I don't even like acknowledging him because it's like,
and then he went to NXT.
Oh no, the water wet me. Like, I got wet by the water. Like, he's just a dick. It's an inevitability that he's gonna say bad things about AEW because even if they were doing everything perfectly, he would just have bad things to say about it. They didn't give him the job when he wanted it. Whatever job it was that he wanted. But yeah, I just what's his name? Ibu from Wrestle Purist and I guess from Fightful now. He had brought up something that really spoke to me, where he mentioned that
interesting.
When this fucking year started, and when Tony Khan was gathering these new acquisitions and headed into that Wrestle Dynasty, Wrestle Dynasty, yeah, the April show. We had they just signed Ospreay, they just signed Mercedes, they just signed Okada. They had Swerve in the new position on top. It felt like the company was headed in a new direction with these people on top as the main characters of AEW. And even when that match with Swerve and Ospreay finished at Forbidden Door, it felt like, look at these guys. I can't wait to see what comes next for them as the main characters of AEW.
Oh,
and then,
not Wrestle Dynasty, just Dynasty.
There you go, Dynasty. Wrestle Dynasty is the one in
the New Japan.
New Japan.
Yeah. And it kind of felt like AEW had a new dynasty coming, and then it was like all these guys splintered off into stories that are like scattered around the card and have different levels of interest.
Very inconsistent.
Yeah, it's Mercedes is like up and down. Okada, people are complaining about him because they thought he was coming to have the epic every week. And AEW hasn't done a good job of hiding the negatives.
That?
People are dumb, Greg. People are dumb. This is wrestling.
How could you think that after the years Omega gave you?
They thought that with Kenny too, and Kenny showed them, and then Kenny, and then Kenny almost died, and they were like, "Yes, let's get another one in to almost die." We need this continuously. Ospreay's right there, almost dying every fucking week. He doesn't know how to slow down, and he's currently in the Continental Classic at least. But before that, he was
losing a lot on pay-per-view.
Losing on pay-per-view, he was in the. He's in the feud with the Don Callis family, which is fine. But like, if we're not gonna just do the Ospreay to Takeshita rematch straight up feud, what was all this mess to get to Kyle Fletcher? To put Kyle Fletcher over? Why is Ospreay putting people over? What are we doing? It's not time for that yet. Like, it's Ospreay's time. This should have been Ospreay's time to be Ospreay. I know he's friends with Kyle Fletcher. I know they want to get this guy over.
There's something coming.
Get the fuck out of here. There's nothing coming.
Get ready.
There's a fucking wave of negativity coming.
Because Fletcher looked solid getting that victory over Shelton. Yeah, he had to cheat to do it, but you got a victory over Shelton freaking Benjamin in AEW. Like, they didn't need to give him Ospreay.
There were a lot of ways we could have done the Fletcher thing before we did Ospreay versus Fletcher and gave him that damn win over Ospreay immediately. I just felt like Ospreay shouldn't have been losing so much right now. and now he's in this tournament where I don't think he's going to be going undefeated. So get ready to watch another Ospreay loss coming soon. What the fuck? This 2024 is going to end with Will Ospreay in the mid card, and that's uncomfortable.
I love the
John
fact.
Moxley heel main event run.
Can we appreciate too that like the most organically over person on the whole roster has been Shelton Benjamin?
No, it's fucking Big
Has he?
AJ.
Oh
Honestly.
God, yeah.
Listen, like Shelton Benjamin, week after week, even in the real crappy towns that nobody cheers for, we were talking about this on the Dynamite recap, they will still like stand up and give him a standing ovation, and he only has to do the most simple of wrestling moves. It's fantastic.
Max says the Bucks showing the Punk video was a massive L. I don't know if that affects them as much as just their own structure right now. Like, I don't think that matters in the grand scheme of things.
I will argue, at least just to piggyback off the idea, the L, and there may have been legal reasons for this. To me, the bigger L was cutting it out of the YouTube video.
Showing that they I guess don't want to or can't stand behind showing the footage.
Yeah.
I just think that's not what's affecting them right now. Like if I look at the problems with AEW today, showing that video or not showing that video, these problems would still be here.
Here's what I would say too: who didn't want to see it? Honestly,
got it out the way. It's wrestling history. Honestly, I would have shown it after All In, but they don't have the balls. You don't want to see what happened? Because we're about to fire this guy. Check this shit out and tell me that you wouldn't fire this employee. And then you show the video, and everyone's like, oh, wow, I think I probably would fire that employee. You don't wait for him to tell the story.
Group Dirt Sheet Radio to air.
I would have played that shit. I would have made T-shirts out of it. Put it on those billboard trucks that drive by on the street. We would have made that work. But no, I just don't think that I don't think that has much to do with the problems that they're having with their weekly TV right now. Like, it just needs to be a better show. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know how much I can dissect that. Let's make the show better.
More consistent.
Well, so I don't know. Gosh, I wonder what you really need to do that. I don't think it's the stars at the end of the day. I think the problem is in the machine, and like, how do we clean that machine out?
I guess you could start at the top. Tony Khan can delegate some more. Probably give ROH to someone and focus more on AEW. Probably maybe just forget AEW and do football things. No, don't do that. That's crazy. Forget football, honestly. What the fuck are you doing over there? Your father owns the team. You just stand around doing number stuff that any fucking geek could get paid to do. Get that shit. Get the fuck out of here. You got the shit out your system. Come. Do your real work. Take care of AEW. Take care of fucking AEW. When you were sitting there, 12 years old, booking fucking fake wrestling matches in a notebook, you were not fucking doing football analytics for your dream. Like, you lived that shit out already. Or maybe he fucking was. Tony seems to have that type of Nero attitude. But
Jags are also doing amongst the worst in the whole league.
Just move the fuck on from that football shit. Leave that NFL shit alone and use that time to sleep. Nap. How about you sleep 8 hours like normal folk? And then we can work on the machine. Probably it starts all up in his brain and the amount of things that he has going on right now. Honestly.
He's going to hear this and just be like, oh, yeah, I'll work on the machine. All right, Brian Cage, ready for a push? This is about to fix it.
Brian Cage is funny as fuck because he thought he was getting... They gave him the Ring of Honor TV title and then they continued to use him the same amount that they were using him before. Like, not at all. They claimed they were going to do the Lance Archer push or Lance Archer tag team with Brian Cage. They disappeared from TV. Remember when they were teasing Okada versus Takeshita? And then they just stopped? Yeah.
Remember Ricochet as a killer?
Honestly, the problem is probably just we used to do this not long-term booking, but at least you had the damn cycle filled out. You knew what the fuck you were gonna do from at the end of a storyline. It wasn't like, oh, maybe we should do Okada Takesha. Oh, wait. Never mind. Hold on. Maybe not. Motherfucker, what are we doing here? I don't know. It's
I don't
kind of
think a lot of
sad.
people know what they're doing here. Max says give Ring of Honor to Chris Hero.
Oh, Chris Hero works in AEW right now. He's not
Hero.
fixing shit. He's literally right there. Matt Taven versus Lee Moriarty. Shut the fuck up. Who rumored that, Mac? You? No.
I can't do it. Yeah, I it's tough. I bald forever.
Oh, forever.
Hater. He's a
I want
hater.
to say it starts at the. I want to say it starts at the top, but I don't know what you do with that.
Starts with
The
one
problem
point,
just ends up
don't know
being.
why.
It's not
shut
as
up.
simple as like you can't just you don't there's no world where this is not like a Vince McMahon situation where it was like, oh my god, we gotta get rid of Vince, he's old. There's no world where you get rid of Tony Khan and that fixes AEW.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I meant to say at the top of the card, but
But I wanted to say that just in regards to
Okay.
like when you start
Okay.
at the top fixing things, people think like, oh well, you need to get rid of Tony Khan. Eric Bischoff's corny ass talking about you need to put Bully Ray in charge. Honestly, truly, and wholly from the bottom of my heart, suck my dick. That's incredible. That's fucking incredible. I don't like that, man. He just
Coming
gives
from
us.
Eric Bischoff, who has seen what happens when people are constantly shifting and creative.
right.
Max says they've been building it up on TV as the only title that Taven hasn't won in ROH, and he challenged him to a match soon.
Have they?
I think he made that up. He made that up. And who's gonna prove it because nobody's watching? That's fucked up.
We need to move the Level Up show to a Ring of Honor show, and then John will have to watch it.
Oh wow! Don't make me do that. We had a couple more WWE things to talk about before we got out of here. The big one is that The Rock will reportedly be missing WrestleMania 41. WWE is moving forward with their Plan B right now. Even though he's Dwayne
Always
Johnson
Plan B.
and he can show up at WrestleMania anyway, they are
And just say
moving
Plan A
forward.
is happening.
Maybe, but I think he would just show up to be like I need to be involved. I can't not be involved. Like I have to do a cameo. I have to do the rock bottom. Like
I'm
Give
the
me my
Rock,
flame gun.
corporate executive.
I think that he's gonna be there. I think he
Okay.
can't wrestle. I don't think he can wrestle. You know how insurance works when you're on films and shit like that. I
Yes.
think it's gonna be one of those things where he's just in a window where he can't wrestle there. He'll hit a rock bottom, or maybe can he take a bump? Possibly, probably not. He's the Rock. He doesn't like to do that. Brother, I got a bump card. Like, get the fuck out. All of a sudden, huh? I don't lose. Yeah, that's
Big studio
rumored to be
side,
like-
but
that's in his movie contract, right? He can't lose.
probably would need to
Maybe.
be like the most craziest way to make him drop a title.
It has to. I don't know.
It's got to work for
They
him,
said
brother.
they did film something between him and Cody Rhodes at the Moana 2 world premiere.
Interesting.
I'm just saying, get ready.
He came
Moana
out, he
3,
did that
baby.
shit. He did that whole shit. Nothing. He was kidding. I'll see you in 3 years for 2 matches once.
At one singular WrestleMania, and that's it.
One weekend.
Never again. Max says he should wrestle as Moana. I assume he means Maui.
Yes.
Nuh-uh. It was actual
He
one.
means Moana. He want the Rock to
You know
put
what
on
he
the
said.
girls. Oh, that's good.
That's.
But-
Oh man. What do we think Plan B looks like, boys?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yes, you did.
I don't want to talk about it. It seems
Tell us-
obvious, right? We
tell
had
the
a
truth.
straight line. We had a straight line between what we're gonna do last year and what we're gonna do this year. They had The Rock and Cody Rhodes. They had a
Yeah.
face off. They did their whole shit. We're gonna have the match next year at WrestleMania, right?
He came out the night after to have that whole segment with him, right?
Right. Max says, I don't watch cartoons. Sorry. Oh no, very big grown up guy talking about wrestling with us at 3 a.m.
My favorite cartoon is Dan to Dan, of course.
At the
Okay.
moment, Dan owes me money.
Oh.
but yeah. No, getting back to what we were talking about though, Dwayne and Plan B, it kind of looks like they started teasing CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, but they still owe Seth Rollins and CM Punk, right? Isn't that a thing? Isn't that something that they meant to do last year that they didn't have the opportunity to do?
Yes.
Sure.
And it's something we can do.
So do that and keep him in the mid card where he belongs. No. No. Otherwise, it does look like it's gonna be CM Punk and Roman Reigns possibly at WrestleMania. That's a big deal. That's a big match. I can't find my window where I have you guys at. This is crazy. Did I close it by accident? Can you still see me?
Yeah,
Yes.
What the fuck is going on here? Anyway, I
you've been
guess
on the air too long.
I'm lost. I can't find you at all. Okay,
still see
well,
you.
I'm here. That's what matters.
Did you accidentally maximize your screen?
I might have thrown the window out, right? Like I thought oh no, I got it back. What is this? Edge sucks. I just don't use. Fuck you, Microsoft.
Microsoft Edge, yes, okay.
I love the idea. He's literally like, I hate it.
Fuck Adam Copeland. CM Punk did like you said, him and Seth Rollins had a confrontation on Monday where Punk was talking about what he wants to do at WrestleMania, and Rollins came out like, man, you talking about WrestleMania? You still owe me a fight. I saw you with Roman Reigns last night sucking his dick. Now I hate you even more. So they go out there, they fight, and it gets broken up. And I assume that means that we're gonna do this match sometime soon. Probably Royal Rumble. Probably. Even though I don't know that CM Punk is young enough to wrestle twice, so he'll do the Rollins match and get 3 minutes in the Rumble and probably get tossed out by Roman or some shit. Set up his Mania match. That it does seem like Roman versus CM Punk though.
Running up that hill.
Well, so there are a lot of options for that. Like, there's no January pay-per-view, but there is Saturday night's main event. The Royal Rumble is on the 1st of February, and the Elimination Chamber is in March. There are opportunities.
I think I do think that Saturday night's main events are supposed to be used like a pay-per-view would be in that month.
Sure.
Because they have one in December because they have no December pay-per-view.
They just
And
better
they-
open with the main event.
That's true. That's actually really, really true.
That is lore
But,
accurate.
Very lore accurate. But yeah, man, The Rock won't be at WrestleMania. He claimed that he would, though. Dave Meltzer reported the same thing a month back, and The Rock responded to a fan on Instagram like, "Don't be believing what you read on the internet, brother. Terramana, love." Anyway, now the report comes
Mac
from
bringing
two
up the
new
Running Up
people.
That Hill promo.
Yes. Which wild, considering we talk about that off the air.
We just watched it before we went live
We were just listening to it together.
because John
We
didn't
should've-
remember it happened.
I don't
Synchronicity.
fucking remember that song being used for that promo, but I'll never forget it now. I think that he's gonna show up, and I don't think he's gonna wrestle. That's what I said earlier, and I'll say that again.
Sure.
That's basically all I have to say about Dwayne right now. Good for him. Wanted to success. Heard the movie sucked, but made a lot of money. So that's very cool.
Get ready for Moana 3.
Somebody
Brother, I'm
talked
making
about
16 of them.
Somebody talked about The Rock trying to set up a Hawaii supercard.
No, they got to do it on the Isle of Samoa. You got to do it like the end of Hobbs and Shaw, where everything just gets really Samoan for some reason. What wasn't this a car film? No, the Samoan family drama is here now. Okay.
Fast and the Furious is a car film. Hobbs and Shaw is something else.
Yeah, the show with the movie with the hot chick, that's fucking Sue Storm now. Yeah, she's very Vanessa Kirby is her name. She is not just a hot chick. I did not just objectify her like that. So, did you guys see that New Day segment?
Yes.
I have not yet.
Greg, what the fuck are you even doing on this podcast? Jesus Christ.
Greg, quick, just say you hate Adam Copeland.
I haven't actually seen any modern wrestling in the last 3 years. And I don't know why they bring me here.
That's not true. That's not true. I watched the pay-per-view last night.
Yeah. Last night! He watched the pay-per-view last night.
I watched the Survivor Series, so I haven't seen modern wrestling.
He got us fucked.
It's not even like this year's Survivor Series.
He's just watching.
Games. No,
he's just watching one of them. He's like, I saw Sami Zayn in the Bloodline, right? They're friends. I saw that.
Remember that part where he stopped Jay and said Sami?
That was cool, right, guys? No, fucking. This is like when Brian Alvarez and Vinny V bring Granny on every week, and they just have her review random wrestling shows. Granny, what'd you watch? And she's like, I watched Undertaker versus Rob Van Dam. Yeah. She's just an actual Granny. Like, it's not like a gimmick. It's like Granny, Brian Alvarez's actual Granny gets on the show, and she's like, I watched Undertaker versus Rob Van Dam, and then she'll give a fucking a whole ass play-by-play recap of it. Like, and yes, that's why we have Greg here.
You guys see those memes where it's something along the lines of like a Hackenschmidt versus Gotch era match going on, and you just see like the caption that says like, I'm starting wrestling from season 1. When does Roman Reigns come in?
When does this Cody guy finish his story? Max says he watched George Hackenschmidt live, I assume, in person. Probably sitting next to Greg. First row.
The hack.
That's what we used to call him back in my day.
No, but I have seen Antonio Inoki versus Dory Funk Jr.
In their prime, when they were both at least 20.
I don't know if Dory Funk Jr.'s ever been 20.
He's perpetually been the same age forever.
No, I brought the New Day thing up because I thought it was a really interesting pivot, or not a pivot, they plan to do that, but a really interesting twist, swerve, if you will.
What's a twist?
What a twist.
What a twist. Max is in 42. Fuck you. Fucking 400, 420. You know that. No, I don't. Mac, you're no older than 30. Don't worry about it. But yeah, whoever wrote that segment, kudos. Whoever playing that shit, Greg didn't see it, so now I have to kind of describe it. But
I know the Spark Notes.
Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston come out there, and last week they had this Dragon Ball thing going on where Xavier Woods was dressed as Goku Black and Kofi was dressed as Goku, and I was like, oh, well, that's really heavy-handed. And then this week, Kofi's wearing the Majin symbol necklace around his neck, which is famous for when Vegeta turned heel. And so I was like, are they both going to turn heels tonight? But I never expected them to do it like that. I don't know what the fuck. I didn't see that shit coming at all. They come out there, they tease like they're going to.
Before you get to that, remember too, there were like the two dominating predictions leading into this was going to be, and everyone online was in agreement that it was either going to be Big E making his grand return to join the New Day and wrestle again, or B, it was going to be the complete and utter breakup, and they all go their separate ways.
None of those things happen. Very cool stuff. Very cool when that happens. They came out and they acted like they were going to, or they probably, I imagine, they were going to end the New Day. They were going to announce the end of the New Day. And then Big E comes out and he was like, hey, relax. I seen you guys fighting. I'm going to be your manager from now on until I'm medically cleared. And Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston kind of look at each other like, is this fucking guy serious right now? Like, hold on. Like, hold on a second. After all this time, today, you decide to come out here to talk about how you want to play Kumbaya and be our manager and shit. Where the fuck were you all this time? And he's like, I broke my neck. And Xavier Woods says, so what? You broke your neck. Like, so many other people broke their necks and they came back. So where the fuck were you?
We watched Sabu.
And then Big E turns to Kofi, and Kofi's like, no, yeah, so fucking what that you broke your neck? You left us here hanging, abandoned us.
Steve Austin broke his neck.
Kurt Angle won a gold freaking medal.
And so Big E's like on the verge of tears, like, guys, what's going on? The power of positivity. You're sucking it all out of me. They took all his power of positivity. Now he's gray and sad and broken. And they looked at each other and they realized we love each other again. I fucking love you, bro. I love you too. And so they
bonded over our common hatred of our former friend.
Yeah, you're right. All we had to do was let that out. And honestly, truly, there's psychological precedent there.
Yes,
they both had this deep-seated issue, and they were arguing and arguing. They couldn't fucking figure it out, and they finally got it all out. And they're like, "Bro, I love you. It's him we hated." Oh, that's
the problem all along.
Him.
I would honestly like to see them start winning and being real cohesive now.
Along.
Because it would make Big E look real bad if he comes back and has a problem with it. Like,
tag champs again.
They're like, no, actually, we're doing quite well without you, and I don't want to further this issue. So, good day, sir.
I also just love the overall theme that all broken necks are equal.
And Xavier Woods is like, I broke my tibia. I had to actually get surgery. You didn't get no fucking surgery. I came back. Where were you? So yeah, it sounds delusional, just delusional enough for a fucking heel. I loved it. I loved the whole thing. But
I also I'm also amused by the idea that after 10 years they're much closer to that first version of the New Day that people like to prophesize about.
I miss them as heels in that first run. I remember they were doing the obnoxious hip swivels and the fucking singing before the shows, and that was really where you got to see their charisma. So hopefully we'll get back to that and no more of the smiling, you know.
But wasn't that the stuff people liked?
I liked that they were obnoxious assholes, and then they were baby faces, but they were still obnoxious assholes. They just did it to the heels.
Liked about them.
Yeah, and then they lost it. They kind of
version of that.
Oh yeah,
the first version of the New Day before the hip swiveling.
Oh, the church one, the real one,
the super serious suits one.
Yeah, they were
before the church stuff began.
When Xavier Woods was just kind of recruiting them, he was just coming out in the suit.
Yeah, when they killed Slater Gator, and then we never saw them again.
And everybody thought they were doing the Nation of Domination one more time.
I chewed on a piece of ice.
Yes, you did.
And so I blocked the mic. But Max says Big E's facial expressions really sold it for him. He did a tremendous job in the segment. It was Agatha all along. Down the Riches Road. But yeah, that was that, and I guess we'll see how they follow up on that. The final thing we had to talk about was there was a Survivor Series injury report. Sheamus broke his fucking ribs.
Really?
He did break his ribs during the triple threat match. Yo, Braun was laying them shits in, son.
Jeez.
Listen, I saw a tweet. I'm gonna steal that tweet sentiment. Triple H picked his Roman Reigns years ago, and that motherfucker is gonna end up being the coolest goddamn wrestler in the last 20 years. Braun Breaker is just everything he does is just the coolest fucking shit. Triple H really picked the guy, the right guy to be his guy whenever his time comes. Bro, he hits this what might be the greatest shoulder tackle I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, the big flying one?
Brother fucking came flying from another state.
Over the camera.
Basically over the camera. He weighs like 300 pounds. He shouldn't move that fast. He shouldn't be that high. But he was. He's the perfect Steiner. He's the perfect Steiner. They put Scott and Rick and they mixed them up and they sprinkled a little bit of fucking Triple H in there and they sent him all on his way. Have fun, little man. I know you'll make us proud. I can't wait to see what they
Screamo theme song.
I don't like it. I don't like any of the songs they've given him so far. No, but he'll get one. Right. He'll get his career music soon. That one that just sticks for the next 10 years. I don't think
remember Braun Breaker as the placeholder for Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble, and it just felt like it fit perfectly.
Do it again. Yeah. Do it again. This year, I want him to be the Iron Man. I want him to dominate shit. I think I get thrown out in the end, but dominate that shit.
Give him the Diesel spot.
Yep. The Kane spot, the Roman 2014 spot. Have him break the damn record, actually.
Why not? Let the record show, too, when it comes to Sheamus's thing. I know that spinal stenosis can also impact your ribs and make them potentially weaker. Yeah.
Holy shit. That actually is kind of scary. Man, he's a fucking nut for getting on that shit. For getting back in the ring with that.
Yeah.
But so Sheamus broke his ribs. Bronson Reed broke, I don't know if he broke them, but he injured both his ankles. He did a splash off the top of the cage through an empty table, and of course that means breaking your fall with your own feet. And unfortunately, bodies don't support that kind of weight.
Sometimes you just need to take the bump.
Which I felt bad because during the recap show, I was like, "Okay, he did it right. Good job." You know, he walked away from it. No, he did not.
No, he didn't.
He actually literally did not walk away from it. Yeah. And then finally, Jimmy Uso. It was Jimmy, right? Jimmy broke his toe on.
It was Jimmy, yeah.
On the splash that he did off the cage. When he did the dive, I thought he broke his ribs because I was like, "Oh, like why did he land like that?" He landed like chest first.
In a funky way where he stayed up.
Yeah, and that's how he broke his toe. Fucking toe came down on the canvas. Ooh. So ouch.
Yeah, just gotta lay out and let it happen, man.
Yeah, but I don't think on that one, his angle on that was off. If he didn't land on his feet, he might have cracked something up in his sternum area. So
that's fair.
He you know, when you're in the air up there, I'm sure that 1 second you have, your instincts kind of take over, especially when you've done it as much as they've been doing it. Not cage spots, but just dives.
This truly was a Survivor Series.
God, you suck, Nick. I fucking hate you. The very, very last thing we had to talk about tonight, WWE had a Netflix press event and they didn't invite us. So on that note, you can actually lick my butthole, Chris LeGentle. They're never gonna give me the press pass, and I'm tired of holding my tongue. You can suck my actual dick, WWE press man. I don't want to sit in your stinky little room, your stinky little press event, standing next to fucking asshole fucking interviewer over here. What? Whose birthday is it? Who are you going to be teaming with? I don't want to be part of this shit anymore. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of holding my tongue. I want to be me again.
Damage control.
That's actually funny as hell. I'm not going to call him out by name. But that was funny as hell, and I don't know why they keep letting him in that damn room. but actually, no, I do know. That's exactly the kind of question they want. It's exactly the kind of person they want in the room. That's exactly the kind of things they want happening on there. So good for you. Enjoy that. Eat my ass.
Someone in there is willing to be like, "Hey, Cody Rhodes, what's your social security number?"
So,
What's your sign?
you went out there as WWE champion, and you left as WWE champion. I just want to know how you feel now that you're still champion. What the fuck? What's that mean? I don't know. Good, I guess.
Cody, when you're out there in the ring, where do you keep your expensive valuables?
As it turns out, this has a pocket. No, but yeah. So at the press event, Triple H, he kind of jokes that if we have streaming issues because of 60 million people watching, then I'll take those streaming issues because 60 million people are watching. So they don't have any fear of Netflix's streaming issues that they had with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Nick Khan assured investors and media people that WWE will be remaining family friendly. They will not be changing their rating because there's a lot of online chatter about how when they move to Netflix, they're going to do X-rated things or TV 14 rated things. But no, they will remain the family friendly program that they have been for the last 15 years.
I never understood where people got that from, that they were going to change.
It don't make no sense.
Right.
That all of a sudden, because they moved to Netflix, Mattel would be okay with them showing titty.
That's the problem. They associated it with the channel and not the other deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You forgot that sponsors exist.
Sonic.
That said, right? That said, I have never missed the WWE Network more than with this looming Netflix premiere date coming up and the seeming the transportation of all WWE properties to the Netflix model.
Bro, listen. Peacock sucks so bad that I am willing to see how close Netflix is going to get us back to that WWE Network experience.
I don't think they can because to me the WWE Network experience was the ability to almost seamlessly search for one match.
Yes, and you could even, like, if you're on the whole pay-per-view, you could seamlessly go to that match directly.
Yeah,
And I know there's going to be hiccups right now. Now we got to do that wait period. Every time they move to a new streamer, we have that few months waiting period where they don't know how to rewind. You can't fucking pause live streams. The fucking pay-per-views don't have chapters.
We can't do the 10-second rewind or the 15-second.
Yeah. So I mean, let's hope they got that out of the way.
And my favorite thing, has anyone checked out the CCW content? Maybe we need to run through it again.
You just try to sneak in the stuff that we had on the network and try not to give them the NBC edited shit. Maybe. But yeah, that was the big news to come out of the Netflix event was that they would not be
episode 15.
I know exactly the one you're talking about too, Mac.
You do?
Oh my gosh, yeah. We've been planning this one.
Okay.
Start at 83 and go onwards 15. Our audio listeners have no idea what we're talking about. Max says, Nick, I can't wait to watch WCW Starrcade Season 1, Episode 15.
83 plus 15 is 98. Thank you.
We want to start at 83, though.
Okay, so 83 plus 14.
Yeah.
You cheater.
We get to 97.
Starrcade 97. So you can't watch Starrcade 97 without doing a post-watch of Conrad Thompson airing Eric Bischoff out for that.
That's such an iconic video.
Does Conrad give him the business for that pay-per-view?
No, Greg, you don't understand. It appeared to me that the only reason Conrad ever created a podcast company was to have that moment with Eric Bischoff to talk about Starrcade 97.
He was ready to go, too.
He had been ready for his whole life. He had questions, and he wanted those fucking answers, and he was pushing back, and he was like, no, get the fuck out of here. You can't tell me that just because this guy came in a little fucking tired, he didn't have his tan because he wasn't tan. Yeah. You actually, Craig, if you've never heard that, you need to listen to Conrad and take Eric Bischoff to task.
It is the most iconic Conrad moment ever.
Yeah. Because he wasn't tan? God.
Was that the thing about why Hogan didn't want to take the L?
Yeah, they claimed he was out of shape and he didn't look like he was
Tan
prepared.
and ready.
It was like the death of WCW thing, and Sting was talking about how he walks in there, he walks into the arena, and then they have the meeting, and it's another thing where Sting had heard rumors that Hogan was going to do that thing where it doesn't work for him, brother. And he was just like, I'm not going to believe it because Terry and I are friends. And he walks into the meeting, and sure enough, he hears creative control clause, and
Friends.
Sting just walks away dejected and disappointed.
And Sting confirmed that it was that creative control clause, right? Because
Yeah.
Bischoff and Hogan swear to this day, oh, Hogan has never used his creative control clause. Man, get the fuck out of here, bro. Anyway, we would have spent the next 30 minutes just shitting on Starrcade 97 ending. But
Make sure you go and join
This-
us for the
I was-
WCW
I
recap
was gonna
that
ask
Mac and I are
if
going
you
to do.
taken- I was gonna ask if you taken the task for Kevin Nash not showing up.
but I don't think Conrad was ever so passionate or angry about anything else that he has talked about with people on his shows than that. I think that was a long festering
That was,
conversation that he needed to have. I'm not gonna be able to move on in my life until we do this, Eric. So, but yeah, man, that's us. That's Dirt Sheet Radio. We had a fun time tonight, but that's not all. That's not the only. This is not the only place you can find us. We rock. We rock it 7 days a goddamn week, basically. Mondays, we're on after Raw. Tuesdays after NXT. Wednesdays after Dynamite. Thursdays after TNA Impact. Fridays after SmackDown. Sundays you can catch CJ and Tyler doing their thing when they're ready to do it. You can also catch the 3NT guys doing their thing when they're ready to do it. Nick and Mac's monthly WCW review show where they review random WCW events that tickle their fancy can be found right now on YouTube. The Halloween Havoc event, or Halloween Havoc review is up now. Nick,
1998.
Mac, Robbie, Halloween Havoc 1998. Go check that shit out. I love
Arcade
you
97
all.
coming soon.
So Arcade 97 coming soon. I might find a way to get on that bitch.
Get on there. Come on.
Hell yeah.
Right before we do SmackDown.
I gotta come up with like a Jerry Springer end of the goddamn show quote of the day thing. I'm gonna just quote a different anime character every week from now on.
Stop
Something
it.
something inspirational. This week, my inspirational quote is gonna be Date Bayo. Good night, everyone.